So
As the water gets colder, there seem to be more and bigger lake trout that start to show up. It's just not nobody's. I mean, you're like the only guy out there,
yeah,
but but um,
so what's their location, Mark? I mean, we're going out of the pier heads at Holland. Pretty much, are they going to be closer in the fall? Are they going to hold in a depth band? And what's the basic where do you start looking? And obviously, I'm assuming we're fishing the bottom 10 or 20 feet of the water column, right?
yeah, right now for sure. They're still down on the bottom. Like if you were going to go out this week, you'd want to go to like 110 to 130. And then fish on the bottom with spin doctors and spinning glows and that kind of stuff. But
Sure.
as you get into the month of like October and definitely into November, they suspend, and you can catch them on anything from 3 to 5 colors of lead core to your 150 to 300 coppers, and those are mainly on spoons.
Sure. So
Um,
they're gonna go mid depth on you is what you're saying as it gets colder. And
yeah,
what's a good speed? Say a guy's a novice, doesn't really have a ton of experience and knowledge. What's a good general speed for that month of October, early November that he should be going?
you can actually start to go faster than like your kind of your summer lake trout speeds.
Right, which are more
More
two
like in
to
the two
two.
three to two
Yeah.
six range.
Oh, perfect. So a guy's almost starting to go salmon fishing as it gets
Oh yeah,
colder.
you're going salmon speeds. Yeah, if they're, I mean, you won't. I mean, you can run into steelhead, and every once in a while there's a batch of coho that's moving through, especially in October, that you can contact. If you're moving, a little quicker, the lake trout will still bite. But
Exactly. So, but having those high lines. So, what you're saying really is if a guy goes out there and sets the Lake Michigan special, which is basically a couple of threes, a couple of fives, and a couple of seven lead cores, maybe a high and a low diver and a mid depth and
yep,
a mid depth downrigger or a bottom downrigger, he's going to have a really good chance of still catching a good batch of lake trout and maybe even a random splash of coho and steelies.
yeah, absolutely, yep,
And
yep.
is the premise that happens all summer long still the case when it comes to as we get fall, as you know, we get a lot more of that northeast,
Oh
northwest
yeah.
blows. When that occurs, do those fish still react the same way and do they come right in tight to the pier heads?
Well, no, not. I mean, what'll happen is we'll get one of those blows, and the water will end up being like essentially 42, 43 degrees top to bottom,
Right,
and
exactly.
it'll all be the same temperature, and that's when they're suspended all over. And
So
you're not going to fish in like 90 or 100 foot. You're going to fish in like 50 to 70 foot. You're going to fish tighter.
exactly, exactly, and that's what I was getting at is, but it's really kind of whereas in the summer when you get a blow like that and it blows the fish up and
Right.
scatters them in the fall. You're saying it really puts them in a lot of different water columns, so having a big spread will still be very productive because you simply are going to you don't know which rod's going to go, but if you have a nice spread like we talked about a 357, a high and low diver, you could catch a nice bag and you might catch one on every rod in the set is the way it's
Right.
going to
Or you
work.
might key in like, oh boy, my seven color is really good today.
Exactly. Are you still basically staying traditional in your spoon choices, like a UV, I've got a super slim in my hand, or whatever manufacturer you are using and have
I use a
confidence in?
lot of super slims
Yeah,
in the
super
in
slims,
the
but
fall.
but the brightly colored UVs and things
Yep.
like that. So that spoon choice doesn't really change much, is what you're saying. It's really just where you're setting your stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, you're still you're going to mainly put out kind of a real similar spread in that later on in the fall as you would put out the spring.
Exactly. So
Um,
so so these fish do educate us here too, Mark. Do these fish act like a lot of other species where they sense winter coming and they're actually a little bit more aggressive and trying to pack some fat on?
it,
Is
it yeah, I feel like the lake trout definitely get more aggressive.
And that might
that's
be
why
why
you're
you
catching
can
them
go
at faster speeds and whatnot.
Exactly.
Suspended.
That's what I was just going to say. My brain's telling me that going faster, that's why Lake Trout at 2.3 to 2.6, 2.7 is making sense, because they are a little bit more aggressive. Well, Mark, I know you're going to be – do you got openings on your charters yet, or have you pulled the boat?
I have I have next weekend available, and the following weekend I'm booked. And then as soon as October 6th, as soon as we get the clients off and fish cleaned, we're pulling it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we appreciate all the reports you've given us over the year, and we'll talk to you again. The second you and I will talk early in the spring, in March and April. As soon as you get the Black Pearl back in the water, we'll be back talking to the folks about the great fishing out of the Port of Holland. Thanks a lot, Mark.
All right. Thanks, John. Take care.
You bet. So let's just do a quick recap here, a super quick recap. And this recap is brought to you by Babbitt's Sports Center in Muskegon, Michigan. Babbitt's Online has all of your ATV, watercraft, four-wheelers, snowmobiles. Also, they've got a great line of Legend trailers. So thanks to Randy and the folks at Babbitt's for sponsoring the fishing report in the Southwest region. Let's just hold a couple. This is that UV Dreamweaver Super Slim. We've held this one up all year. We aren't switching the color. Basically, if you have this spoon in about 6-8 different bright colors, you're going to do a good job. Another one here is just a little bit more meaty of a spoon, and that's more of a, as we get into the fall, this might not be such a big player, but having a couple of different profile spoons is always good. Of course, running everything on our mag diver discs here, unibody construction. This is a Dreamweaver diver discs. And really at this point in the season, it's about guys deciding what they want in their freezer. You know, as we go along for the next 2 months, as you heard Mark say, just because he's pulling his big boat and winterizing it, guys with small boats, this is small boat time of the year. You can get out on those nice days. You heard them, 50 to 70 foot. A lot of different spreads. The fish will be scattered all over the place. You'll be able to encounter those fish at normal salmon speeds, 2.3 to 2.6, 2.7, and you're going to catch mostly lake trout, but you're also going to get steelhead and coho, especially on the 3.57 leads, because those are traditionally higher fish. Well, hey, thanks for joining us today for the Southwest Michigan Fishing Report out of the Port of Holland, Michigan. Signing off for Mark Rapson, this is John Bergsma.